All right, good people, let's talk about it. So my man Smoothly, he didn't come out and said that he ain't going to live in the Philippines. All right, I understand you, Smooth, but what I want to do is I want to try to let everybody understand the process because you heard what Smooth said. Smooth said him and his wife have been planning. They've been figuring it out. They've been analyzing. They've been doing everything that would be humanly possible to establish themselves in the Philippines to live. Also, here's the key. From what I understand Smoothly to be saying is that after he evaluated him living in the Philippines versus him living where he's living now, he decided that for the well-being and benefit of their family as a whole, he would remain where he's at right now. But here's the key. The key is he did planning, he did evaluations. And I've heard him along the line speak on some of the planning, some of the evaluations, some of the ups and downs that he found to be obstacles or a plus for him to move to the Philippines and or not to move to the Philippines. So what am I trying to say? Here's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say, look at Smooth, know that he did planning, he did evaluations, and he came up with what? An answer that was suitable to everyone, not just him, not just his wife, but his daughter included. So what I'm trying to tell you guys is this. When you're trying to make that move, you have to consider all the factors. You have to consider everything. Why? Because it's going to affect you from the time you move or don't move from then on. It's going to affect you. If you move and you got kids that's not raised or have raised or they live in however they live in and they need help, they need guidance, or they're going to have problems, can you afford to leave and leave them in that condition? That's a question you got to ask yourself. Just I'm gonna share my personal uh, dilemma. When I decided to leave for good and live in the Philippines, I had a daughter at home in the USA who was suffering with diabetes and dialysis. And I don't want to get into all the ups and downs in regards to her suffering, but what I want to tell you is that in all of my years, I have never seen someone suffer so much. All of my years, I have never seen one human being suffer so much. And not only did I see her suffer, but I seen her every day act like that she didn't have a problem in the world. And she was always there to solve somebody else's problem. I had pondered on whether or not it was feasible and the right path for me to leave because of my daughter's situation. And let me tell you how I resolved it. The way I resolved it is that I had spent so much time with my baby in her crisis till the realization that me, everyone, every day is dying. Every crisis, I saw my daughter coming closer and closer to death. I even talked to the doctors at one point, and I asked them, a person in my baby's condition and situation, what is the time span that you give them to live? How long can they live? She told me that my daughter, based on what she knew of her medical record, had exceeded all the time limits she ever knew that a person would have. She has exceeded them. She said, so, sir, if you believe in God, then it's truly up to God when He decides to end her life. So from that point on, um, I kind of felt like a dummy because I myself believe that it's up to God as to when you're going to leave. But I also know that modern medicine, which is a gift from God, uh, has the ability somewhat to be able to give you hope or something in regards to a person's expectation of life. So I decided that I was going to leave. And while I was gone, my baby, she did go home. So these are some of the things that you will have to face, that you will have to deal with when you decide to make this trip and you decide to make this your home. You see some vloggers got on here on YouTube. They had went back home and all their kids was like, I didn't hear him. I never heard one good story about what he had to say about his children when he went back home. I heard Smooth say that he was going to dedicate and spend his time to his daughter. Me personally, when I left, all my children were grown, married, had children, no babies whatsoever. They were all adults, gainfully employed, and living living good. So it wasn't like I left babies or I left any of my children or immediate family in distress. No, when I left, I could truly say that I ain't ruffled nobody's feathers and did nobody miss a meal because I wasn't there. Everybody was able to carry on as they was when I was there. And when I was there, they didn't really need my help. They were sufficient, you know. And so, what I want you to understand is, as you decide to make the move to the Philippines, be aware that you have to beforehand do some planning, do some figuring. You need to come up with how you're going to do it. And in case of, okay? So, hats off to Smooth Lee because once again, he gave some incredible information. he gave some advice spot on, and I can say it's spot on because I actually myself went through the same process. I did the same type of self-examination, so forth and so on, and my conclusion was that my life would be better if I was to leave the USA and come to another country and live. My life would be better because I would be able to see the world, travel, be in a particular community and environment that I wanted to be in that was far superior to that in Lakewood where I was living, and I would be what I felt in a more uh, situation that would be conducive to me extending my life, maybe. You know, they say an old man who lives by himself, be alone, etc., etc., he shortens his lifespan. Yeah, that's true. You see. So one thing you can look at is that if you're single and you're planning to go to another country, the Philippines or wherever, even if you have a bad relationship in the Philippines, if you're spending your time with someone and it's more tolerable than that which you spend time with a human being in the USA, you're extending your life and you're winning. So, yeah, you can come to the Philippines and you can get a bad woman, but I'm going to keep on saying it. A bad woman in the Philippines is better than some good women in the USA. Some people don't like that. Some people don't like I say that, but it's the truth. And why can I say it's the truth? Because I've experienced it. I've experienced it. A bad woman in the USA can make your life miserable. What would be considered a bad woman in the Philippines hmm, is nowhere near being miserable. Okay? So once again, good people, hats off to Smoothly. Do your research, do your studying as to how you're going to live, how you're going to have day by day enjoyment in the Philippines and what it is you need to do there. Listen, good people, God bless, take care. And remember, when you help other people from the bottom of your heart, you're truly helping yourself. Take care, good people.